Hey guys, welcome back to another video. On today's episode, we're going to be bringing you an archery shop challenge. And if we get to 10,000 likes on this video, we're going to give away a bear bow package with all kinds of extra goodies in it. There's two different ways you can enter. The first way is to go down below, comment #BearArchery, and we'll find you. The second way is to head over to our website. I'll post a link down below in the description or something, and sign up for the giveaway. So smash the like button and get a chance at one of these sweet rigs right here.
Today, Jake and I are headed up to Archery Field and Sports in Des Moines, Iowa. I'm gonna get a new bow, all the accessories, and get it shooting well. And we'd like to show you how easy and affordable it is to go to a bow shop and get ready for hunting season. Let's go.
Such a gentleman.
Yeah, that's me. So now, just looking to get into it, there's a lot of different options that you can go with. You can start anywhere from, a really good package like this on this AZ31, which you're looking at $3.99, and it's going to come all set up with a sight, a quiver, whisker biscuit, sling, stabilizer, peep sight, and a D-loop. So it's just really nice because it's going to have a long range and draw length, for anybody. So if you want to get a youth involved with that bow all the way up, woman or adult male, that's the nice thing on this bow. Long range and poundage, draw length, the whole works. Now, we'll definitely take a look at this, have you shoot it so you can kind of see how it feels. Feel that draw cycle, feel the shock and vibration when it goes off. Then we'll try another one right up here. We'll try this Bear Divergent. So now, this one here is going to be a little bit smoother. It's going to have a little faster speed, but you're also going to be looking at a little bit higher price tag on something like this. So this is going to have some of the really new technology versus that one. Now, will they both be able to shoot targets, hunt with it, do whatever you want to do with it? Absolutely. You don't have to spend the $1,000 price point to be able to get into the sport. So let's go ahead and measure your draw length. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll set up these bows and have you try some shots and see what you think. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hook that right on the tip of your finger. Hold this all the way out. Straight alignment. So we're at 73 inches. We're going to take that and divide it by 2.5, and that's going to give us a pretty good idea on what your draw length is. But from there, we'll actually look at you over there. We'll make sure that your elbow's straight in line. We'll make sure that this front shoulder's not pushed up, that it's down. We'll kind of walk you through the whole process of how to put your hand in the bow, the whole work. So we're going to adjust the draw length first, and then I'll back the poundage down to, like I say, about 55 pounds to start with. So this Pro Series, is this like the newer version of their species that they have?
Yep, so this one is actually just made for pro shops, is what they did with this one here. So just a really good platform bow that they have that they kind of specially made for the pro shops that are out there. That's the Pro Series version of it. So, all right, so we got this one. I'll back this down, and then we'll check the poundage. Then we'll set the other one up. And
Sounds good.
try them both side by side so you can kind of see how they feel. One of the next steps is going to be releases. And so releases, you can kind of go all over the board. You can go from everything from a back tension release to a hinge release, thumb button release. Most hunters are going to go with your wrist style release. In wrist styles, you can kind of start out anywhere from like a basic Patriot release and just a good basic one to get started with. The higher you go up, the more you're going to get into a crisp trigger or actually being able to adjust the tension. That way you can pull super hard on it before it goes, but there's not much movement.
Right.
But like I say, most guys starting out, they're looking at that Patriot. Just a good basic $25 release. That way you can get into it and start shooting.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I'll go with.
Okay. Okay, so we'll walk over here. I'm going to kind of show you how to hold the bow.
Okay.
The biggest thing is you want to get your hand at a 45-degree angle. Okay. And the reason you want to do that is that's going to get that arm bent out of the way so that you're not going to hit that. So you're not having a bad experience right off the bat.
Right.
So when you get that bow in there, it's going to be on this side of your palm, not that side. So that side, I do not want it to touch, and your knuckles are going to be at a 45-degree angle.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and scoot back just a little bit so we don't whack the wildebeest. So I want you to try to find a solid anchor point that you can come into. So when that hand comes into your face, it's always going to come to the same spot.
Okay.
Okay? So right into that jaw line, find a solid spot. So let's get this hand right up in that jaw.
This hand?
Yep. Okay. Now go ahead and look forward. Go ahead. Now your hand's a little deep into the bow, so we're going to want to rotate that out just a little bit. There you go. And then just squeeze that trigger till it goes off.
like my hand was back here, but the string wasn't.
Yep.
Is that normal?
That's fine. What
okay.
we'll do is we're going to adjust a few things to get it to where it needs to be.
All right.
But yeah, the biggest thing is you got to get that hand into a solid spot every single time. So I usually like to try to get that middle part of that release right on my jawline, so it gives me a solid spot there, and then my hand's right back there, and then usually we can get that nose right to the string and squeeze that off. Perfect. So now that we got that part down, now let's really look at how the bow feels. So we're going to look at that draw cycle as it's coming back, once it actually breaks over, and then when that release goes off, you can actually feel the bow. Right in that jawline. Perfect. Now let's try a shot out of this bow up here. So like I say, this is going to be the different cam system. So now you're going to feel a big difference in the draw cycle, the valley when the bow actually breaks over. And your valley is going to be the area of where it breaks over and has its let off and how much movement there is before it goes down. There you go. So definitely a little bit faster bow. You know, it's got a higher percentage of let off on there.
It almost feels less smooth to pull back. Like there's a, right before you get to the valley, there's kind of a, I mean, it like sits in it.
Yep.
But
It's got to have, it's going to be nicer on the let off having that shoulder issue, but you still have that little hump that it's coming over for, versus the old single cams that are really smooth on that when they drop into it. It's all in what you feel, man. That's the nice thing about coming and shooting a bunch of different bows.
That has less shock. Like after my wrist isn't moving as nearly as much when I get done shooting it, but.
Right into that jawline, nose on the string. Perfect. So now looking at these two different bows, you know, the biggest thing is just figuring out exactly what you're looking for. If you're looking for something that's going to be a little bit cheaper price point, but still going to do everything that you want it to do, or if you're looking at something that's going to be a little bit higher end, it's going to have a little more valley, a little more let off. You know, it just really comes down to what you're looking for out of the bows. That's the nice thing, is that you can get into it either way and not have anything to worry about. They're going to be good quality bows either way.
Right.
So now after trying them both out, what do you think?
I like them both. I think for the money, I'm probably going to choose the Pro Series. There's quite a bit of difference in price, and just getting started, they don't feel like they're that much different. That one certainly has a nicer valley on the hold off, and I think with a little more experience, and if I decide this is something I'm going to do for a while, that might be something I invest in. But for now, this has everything I need. I don't have to mess with getting a sight and all this, and I think, you know, after this trip, I'll have everything pretty much set up, and I can get to practicing before season starts. So.
Perfect. We can get her set up then. We'll set, looks like the draw length needs to go just a touch shorter for you. So we'll change that, and then we'll get some arrows picked out, and we'll get you shooting through paper, get it all tuned up, and get you sighted in.
Sounds good.
So now you don't want these too tight.
Okay.
You want to have just a little slack in there, because that's the one thing a lot of guys do. If you make that wristling super tight and you torque your hand at all, it's no different than not having a wristling and just grabbing the heck out of the bow. So the biggest thing is having them relaxed and loose. That way the bow can just do what it needs to do every shot. We're going to get in that triangle again, okay? So we're going to try to get that nose across the string, coming down, hand locked into this solid part of the jaw. Should come right across the corner of your mouth.
Okay.
Let's come into a solid spot on your face. So your hands, there you go, and that nose just touching the string. There we go. Now, can you see right through this peep sight, or do I need to move it up or down?
So it needs to go up.
Okay. Let's go ahead and try her again. Right in that jawline, nose on the string. Now, let's get right back up in that face. Saying, there you go. Now, need to go up or down?
Down.
Down? Okay.
Good.
Okay, go ahead and shoot it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cinch this down a little bit tighter so this thing doesn't move at all.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and get everything lined up. From the factory, it's not always dead center shot, so we'll get that set. Check and see what the poundage is. Then we'll go over here. I'll tell you what spine arrows we need to go with.
Okay.
And we'll pick out a set of arrows.
Perfect.
All right.
Sounds good.
So 53 pounds is where we're setting at. So on arrows, you can kind of go all over the board. You can go anywhere from a basic good carbon shaft like these ones here. These are a Victory Pro Series shaft. These you're looking at $42.95 for 6 of them, cut down to length, inserts, field points, the whole works.
Okay.
Now you can go all the way up to arrows like these, so like some Easton FMJs, but a guy that's just getting started, the one I would recommend would be one like this one here. Just a good basic carbon shaft, nothing fancy. So now we do have a couple color options to choose from. So I've got them in yellow or I've got them in green.
This is the most important decision of the day.
Let's do yellow.
Okay. All right, I'll get these cut and then we'll get to tuning the bow. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna paper tune this. So we're gonna scoot back just a little bit farther. Perfect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have you pull this thing back, come into your anchor point. We're gonna make sure that your hand's good, elbow's still good. I'll tell you up, down through the paper, and then I'll have you squeeze it off.
Okay.
Okay, let's get that hand in there right. There you go. Now get your nose onto the string, hand right in the jaw, squeeze that trigger till it goes off. Okay. So we've got just a little bit of tail right. So when you look at this here, kind of see that you got two veins here and one over to the side.
Okay.
That's telling me is that arrow's kicking to the right. So we're going to adjust that rest a little bit so that it's shooting a perfect bullet hole.
Okay.
Not bad for the first shot.
No, I mean, I don't know what's good, but I think it's better than that.
You should have seen warbs. 6-inch tears.
I think that's the user, not the bow.
Yeah, your form is just impeccable.
Right, just a little bit. So let's rotate that hand so you got it in the same way. Let's shoot that one again. We may have changed the hand pressure a little bit.
Hand is hard because I'm used to like.
Gripping the bow?
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to get it rotated so that it's just right here in the palm of your hand when it's into the bow. Just like if you were to push against a wall, you want to open up those fingers because what happens is if you grip it, you can easily torque that bow left or right.
Okay. So don't even have my.
Just leave your hand relaxed. Just like if you think about your hand on your side,
Okay.
just like your fingers would be, that's how much tension you want in them.
Okay, that's new.
Okay. So we'll tune it to that. Which one?
Oh, that's that.
Let me check. Let me check where you can make up now. That's looking pretty good.
That looks pretty good.
That's what we want to see right there. So you got all three veins right there with a single hole. Let's shoot another one just to make sure we get the same thing. Just like that, man.
Pretty similar.
Yep. That's what we want to see. So you got all three veins and one solid hole. Now it's time to go out there and we'll get this thing sighted in.
Okay, perfect. When I first got my bow, and I had to sight it in myself. It took me like 4 hours trying to figure out which way to move the sight.
I don't think this is going to take 4 hours.
Not with him.
No.
So what I want you to do is pull back, look through this peep, and you're going to line it up with this housing. And then you're going to put your pin on what you want to hit. So I get a lot of guys that come in that have been shooting for a while and they were never taught that. So that's the biggest thing. That's got to be lined up.
The peep with the outside of the
Yep.
sight. Okay.
Absolutely.
Never even thought about that.
Yep.
Just looked at the pin.
That'll make it. That way you don't get up, down, left, and right all the time.
Yeah,
So
because you could be. Yeah. All right.
So come right in that jaw. There you go. Nose on the string. There you go. Relax that front hand, and then just squeeze. Much better.
Feels way more solid than what I had been doing.
Yeah, I mean, if your hand's up against your face, I'm sure that's gonna just kind of lock everything in. And like you had before, you were like putting the string pretty deep into your nose, and that last time you had it at the point of your nose, which is probably better for having less string contact on your face
Yep.
too.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, right around it. We'll shoot one more, see where that goes, and we can adjust that sight. Okay, right there on the left side. Let's go ahead and have you go pull those arrows. I'll adjust that sight and we'll shoot again.
Pretty good. That'd kill a deer, wouldn't it?
No. I think before you even think about putting your finger on the trigger, just like tip of the nose every time and having that up against your face is going to help you a lot.
I honestly like never. It was literally just pull the bow back and. As long as the sight was.
Those three things he's saying every time, just go through that in your head before you even think about making a shot.
So again, when you load that arrow, just always with that Worcester biscuit, odd vein straight up.
Okay.
Boom, right there. I'd say your 20s right there, man. And with just starting out, best thing to do is you get your 20-sided in and then shoot a bunch at 20 yards.
Right.
That way you just work on form. You're not so much worried about really trying to hone in 30 and 40. It's just getting that hand placement down, making
Right.
sure you're coming to that same spot on your face, your nose, and just getting those shots and that repetition built in so it gives you a little muscle memory, and then you work on the next distance.
Exaggerated the further we go.
Absolutely. Right in there, man. Tighten everything up, make sure everything's solid.
That's pretty sweet, actually.
Yeah. Wow. Just I could tell.
Is this the one that you said?
I knew, like, as soon as I shot that, I was like, that's not that great. But, like, in past experience, like, if I could get it here on all my shots, I felt, you know, decently okay with it. But this is the second time shooting my 20-yard pin, and we went from everywhere to, I've never shot 4, like, in the white ever. That's cool.
And so really go through all those shots when you're going through and make a checklist, just kind of like what he was saying. Is
Right.
You go through, pull back, okay, get into my anchor point, right on the jawline, tip of the nose on the string, hand set where it needs to be. Now let's put the pin in the middle and then just squeeze until that shot goes off.
Right.
And then your form is going to show. So that's really what we're talking about is form. And so what you do with it is when that shot goes off, you have that reflection after the shot.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel like you had a really bad shot, think about where your hand was. Was it over here? Was it down here? Did you drop your bow arm? Those are all little things that you kind of work on down the road and, you know, just practice at 20 and kind of get them there.
So somebody that might, you know, not have much experience, could they come to a place like this and practice? Do you suggest things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do multiple things. They can come in and practice. We also have archery lessons, so we'll do one-on-one lessons with them. And a lot of your pro shops are going to have that. They'll work with the customer, whether it's, you know, helping them get into that anchor point, or like I pointed out early, there's a lot of guys that come in here and don't realize that the peep has to line up with that housing.
Right.
Now, it doesn't have to be 100% dead on, no, but you want something that you can line up with up, down, left, and right, because that can really affect those shots.
Right.
So, but yeah, we definitely do lessons, and we have, you know, open range time for people to come in and shoot. We also have leagues, so it's something that people can just enjoy and have fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. I know for a fact that I've never touched my face with this.
Yeah,
I don't know why. But
I could tell. I could tell. You always wanted to come into that free float spot.
Set up there, and then when I got it out here, it was just like, holy cow, I can't get this center.
Like your float, your
Yep.
pin float?
Yeah,
Yep.
my pin float was, when it was off my face, just in past experience, was kind of all over the target. And then it'd kind of be like, okay, well, let's wait till we have a rhythm of it and then shoot. And, you know, that's obviously not correct. But as soon as I got that anchored against my face and my nose on the string, because I think my face was kind of moving too before if I didn't have my nose on it. So as soon as I got my nose on the string, it was just solid. I mean, that's
Awesome, man.
Thank you.
No problem. So now after you shoot this thing at home for a while, we want you to bring it back in. Once you get about 150 to 200 shots, strings and cables are going to stretch a little bit, and then what we'll want to do is put it back to factory specs. Then we'll check it through paper again, make sure that it's flying straight. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. That was easy.
Nice job, team.
Good job.
So all together is $473.95.
If you would have asked me like before I came into the bow shop if I knew what I was doing, I'd probably say, yeah, you know, I kind of know what's going on. But after
Been shooting bow for 4 or 5 years.
yeah, I
you
think
said.
this is my 6th season shooting a bow, and after spending an hour here, there's definitely things I need to work on. So this is just a really non-intimidating place that people can come. You're going to spend way less time and have way less of a headache coming in and talking to people that do this every single day. That'll help you set it up, give you some tips, and it'll make your experience so much more enjoyable than having to figure it all out yourself. In an hour's time, I came in here, I got a brand new bow, I got it tuned, we know it's shooting well, I got new arrows, I have all the accessories I need, I got my 20-yard pin set correctly. In an hour, I got everything I need to go home, practice, and get ready for season.
Now we're gonna set Mindy up.
Yep, I'm not planning to hunt this year, much to everybody's disappointment. But I do enjoy shooting, so I have a bow and I want to get it tuned up so that eventually, if I practice enough, I'm going to show these boys up here.
That one is perfect.
Woohoo!
That's what we want to see.
Perfect. Did you hear that?
It is.
Watch out, boys.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See you guys. See you next.